Israel is one country that's never been far away from controversy. Just a few decades ago, Israel's economy was in a high state of inflation, political unrest, and stalling economic growth. These economic problems may seem very difficult to fix for any other country, but that wasn't the case for Israel. So, how did Israel work its way out of total economic failure into a highly developed free market economy with a modern infrastructure rivaling many Western countries? What was the secret to making this small country have a state-of-the-art technological sector competing with high-tech giants like Silicon Valley in California? Stick around to find out. The secret of how Israel managed to pick itself up from the dust and become a superpower in the Middle East might just leave you in shock. Before we get into that, however, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like these. Israel is a small country in the Middle East, located at the eastern end of the Mediterranean Sea, and right in the middle of other Arab countries that have had a historically hostile relationship with this Middle Eastern surprise. The rapid and continuous increase in the economy of Israel is surprising because the country has made this progress under difficult conditions. These conditions can be attributed to a cold shoulder from most Arab countries, a hostile relationship with its neighbours, which requires a heavy portion of their national expenditure on defence, a scarcity of natural resources, arable farmland, and a rapid increase in population. Currently, Israel has a population of over 9 million people, which might seem small, but if you consider the size of the country, that would be a lot. Despite these economic obstacles, Israel has managed to achieve a pretty high standard of living for most of its citizens, maintain solid growth in industrial export and its tourist sectors, and have a world-class brilliance in advanced technology and an exceptional science-based industry. In its early years, Israel's economy was mostly controlled by the state and shaped by social democracy. The immediate years after Israel's declaration of independence on the 14th of May 1948 were followed by ruthless economic challenges. The country was also recovering from the Arab-Israeli War, which demanded a large amount of financial resources for military efforts. Simultaneously, Israel had to absorb a massive wave of immigrants, which included thousands of Jewish refugees from Europe and almost 1 million from the Arab world. Israel was faced with the task of providing for the basic needs of the growing population and, as a result, became financially overwhelmed and faced a grave crash in its economy. Housing was scarce, and there was a surge in unemployment rates. To control these demands, Israel implemented strict austerity measures from 1949 to 1959. These measures kept inflationary government finance in check through price control and rationing of essential goods. From 1950 to 1965, Israel achieved a high rate of growth. Its gross national product grew by an average annual rate of over 11%, and per capita gross national product by more than 6%. In 1952, Israel signed an agreement with West Germany that mandated Israel's compensation for the Jewish property stolen by the Nazis during the Holocaust. Within the next 14 years, Israel regained about $800 according to the conversion rate of that time, which is currently about $7 billion. Israel also received many private donations from American Jews in 1956 and sold State of Israel bonds abroad. The proceeds from these sources were invested in the development of industrial and agricultural projects. Also, the influx of immigrants brought in a substantial amount of capital inflows and human capital, which contributed to economic growth. At the same time, Israel focused its efforts on self-sufficiency and began a journey of industrialization, setting the foundations for a more resilient economy. With the acquisition of new territories including the West Bank of the Jordan River and the Gaza Strip, previously controlled by Egypt, the Six-Day War of 1967 had a profound and positive impact on Israel's economy. The economic and political dynamics in the region were significantly altered. As a result, Israel became responsible for the economic and political aspects of these territories, which resulted in the fusion of the Arab sections of Jerusalem and the Jewish sector. The Jewish settlements were established in parts of the occupied territories. As hostiles intensified, Israel made special investments in infrastructure to protect the new Jewish settlers. However, by the 1970s and 1980s, the economy went through a string of free market reforms and gradually became liberalized. By late 1977, a notable degree of trade liberalization had taken place. Israel moved from a fixed exchange rate system to a floating rate system, and it lifted its restrictions on capital movements. In 1985, the government leaders came together for a marathon one-day summit where they created an impressive bargain that reduced government spending and severed the tie between wages and prices. It also set new rules for a more independent central bank. In many ways, this became the beginning of the modern Israeli economy. The government eased up its role in the economy and focused on keeping inflation low and its deficits manageable. Israel's economy also benefited from the collapse of the Soviet Union. The American immigration policy prevented many Russian Jews from coming to the United States, so instead they chose Israel. More than 700,000 immigrants landed in the country, boosting the working age population by 15%. This meant more people to work, shop at malls, buy houses, and pay taxes. When those immigrants are engineers, college professors, and lawyers, it's even better for economic growth. Also, tax rates in Israel are among the highest in the world. Value-added income, excise, land, and luxury taxes are the main sources of revenue. Since the 1950s, the Israeli government has gradually raised the proportion of indirect taxes. The 1985 tax, which was reformed in 1985, included a corporate tax levy on previously untaxed business sectors while slightly reducing direct taxes on individuals. Israel's industry has been both in demand locally and internationally. The rapidly growing population of the country and the rise of the standard of living fueled Israel's industrial expansion. More recently, the world demand for Israel's modern technology, software, electronics, and other advanced equipment has stimulated industrial growth. Israel's competitive status in new countries is the result of its emphasis on college education and research and development. The government contributes its industrial growth by providing low-rate loans from its developed budget. Israel is also in high local demand for its mining industry supplies of fertilizers, drugs, and detergents, and also produces some exports. An industrial plant in Haifa, a port city in Israel, produces potassium nitrate and phosphorus acid for both local consumption and export. There are also oil refineries in Haifa that produce polyethylene and carbon black, which are used by the local tire and plastic industries. Israel's electrochemical industry also produces food chemicals and a variety of other commodities. Oil pipelines run from the port of Eilat to the Mediterranean. Israel has some producing oil wells but continues to import most of its petroleum. The Central Bank of Israel is one of the most independently working banks. The Bank of Israel issues currency and acts as the government's only fiscal and banking agent. The Israeli shekel was devalued many times after its declaration of independence. The new Israeli shekel was introduced in September 1958 to replace the earlier Israeli shekel. It was introduced by the government and central bank as part of a successful economic stabilization policy that helped control the inflation rate that had been on a steady surge between the 1950s and mid-1980s and had skyrocketed in the 1970s. Tourism in Israel has significantly increased and has become an important source of foreign exchange. Visitors are drawn to Israel's numerous religions, archaeological and historic sites such as the Dome of Rock, the Western Wall, and biblical cities like Nazareth and Bethlehem in the West Bank. There are numerous resorts in the highlands and the desert and along the coast. Most of Israel's tourists come from Europe, and there is a growing number from North America. Access to foreign markets has been a necessity for further economic expansion. Israel is a member of the World Trade Organization and has free trade agreements with the European Union and the United States. These agreements and the country's industrial and significant innovations have allowed the country to trade successfully, despite its lack of access to surrounding markets in the Middle East. The State of Israel did not have many advantages, but it's overcome many challenges in its few years of independence as a country. Despite these challenges, it's been able to become one of the most advanced and prosperous economies in the world. Israel is a template for other countries facing similar challenges. Change is not impossible for them. What countries do you think would benefit from Israel's strategy? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like these. Catch you next time.